You wouldn't believe what happens next. The village chief said to little kid, "Let's do a little homework." Little kid thought for a moment and blurted out, "Teacher Saya is getting prettier, but our village chief is starting to look like a potato." As he spoke, laughter erupted in the classroom. The woman smiled for the first time since escaping, troubles gone. Then he returned to the podium and started teaching the kids to sing Little Grass, with no floral scents, no tall trees. "I am a little grass that nobody knows, my chance to shine is zero." The kids' joyful voices echoed in the shabby classroom. Outside, the proud village chief smiled with hands behind his back. He foresaw the kids' bright future. To stabilize the situation, the village chief housed Teacher Sai with little kid's family. Not only did he get Seven Sister, the best cook, but he also stocked all village meat and veggies for a banquet. Just when Teacher Sai was clueless about this, at lunch, the distant kids started munching on their dry corn cakes, while little kids served the teacher white rice and preserved meat. Seeing such a sumptuous meal, the kids showed eager eyes. Teacher Saya, noticing this, held up the preserved meat to share, but they didn't dare to eat. They said eating it would earn them a beating from Dad. After a bit of probing, Teacher Sai learned it was a rule set by the village. Knowing the truth, Teacher Sai felt complex. Why such treatment? She rushed to the village chief to lift this unwritten rule. However, at that moment, the village chief was busy tying up a little calf with ropes, preparing to carry it up the mountain. Just then, two local folks came down the mountain trail, their backs loaded with fresh beef. Teacher Sai felt a bit puzzled but didn't inquire further and quietly followed behind, as the mountain path was slippery and steep. Soon, she was panting with exhaustion, while the village chief was still high-spirited, climbing up like he was scaling Mount Everest. Looking around, she saw fields of corn, which were the lifeblood for the entire village. Teacher Sai then asked the village chief why they were carrying a calf that couldn't help with the farming up the mountain. The village chief explained that they were carrying the calf because the path was so steep that a big cow couldn't make it up. The calf could only be carried up once it was weaned, so it could eat grass on the mountain and eventually help with farming, until it was time to turn it into meat. Only then could the villagers enjoy the benefits. This is why the locals called this place Killed the Kevlar, which is quite heartbreaking. In this impoverished area, education for the kids has always been a big issue. The village chief knew Teacher Sai was the hope for the whole village, but his own family had to make do with what they had. His biggest wish was for the kids not to end up like these cows, sent off to the mountains at a young age to live a life similar to cattle. "You are really our benefactor. Sometimes I want to kneel down and beg. Just please don't leave our poor little ones." These profound words deeply moved Teacher Sai's heart. She never expected that escaping legal troubles would lead her to accidentally become the village's benefactor. She also didn't anticipate that this seemingly rough village chief had such a grand wish hidden within him. She realized how important the word teacher was for this village surrounded by mountains. From then on, Teacher Sai completely let down her guard and threw herself into educating the children. But unfortunately, the good times don't tend to last very long. One day at lunch, while Teacher Sai was distributing meat among the kids, the sudden appearance of a stranger broke the peaceful moment. The man thought the person in front of him looked familiar and tentatively called out a name. "Zhang Wuxun, you really are Zhang Wuxun." "I am surname Zaya." "What Zaya?" Teacher Sai couldn't hold back her panic anymore and ran away in a hurry. The man chased her. The village chief heard, ran to stop him, punching him hard. But soon, the village chief learned that this man was an agricultural technician sent from the county office. He informed the villagers that the woman's name was Zhang Hengwan and she was a wanted criminal. He added she'd been gone over a month. The village chief was skeptical, insisting Teacher Sai arrived 6 months ago. How could she possibly be Zhang Hengwan? The village chief signaled to a villager beside him, who immediately understood. "Oh, yes. Teacher Sai has been in the village for more than half a year, not just 1 month." The man could only accept that he must have misidentified her, and he left only after the villagers urged him to. The village chief found Teacher Sai hiding in the mountains and seriously told her that the man had left. Teacher Sai, feeling apprehensive, asked, did he hear anything he shouldn't have? The village chief shrugged and said, "No, I'm Zaya, not Zhang. If anyone dares to say your last name is Zhang again, I'll let them meet my fists." The village chief's words made Teacher Zaya feel a bit, but she was still filled with dread, fearing such incidents might happen again, so she was determined to leave the village. The village chief was worried she might do something drastic, so he painfully agreed to let her go. The next day, the village chief nearly emptied the village's coffers to throw a grand farewell feast for Teacher Saya. In his heart, even though Teacher Saya didn't keep the promise, she was still the greatest benefactor of the village. And benefactors cannot sneak away like cowards. They must receive a proper farewell from the whole village. The village chief made sure to emphasize that the teacher had to leave because she received orders from above. This is such a joyous occasion. Whoever dares to stop her is no mother's child.